go live. So I don't anticipate a lot of people will probably not come on, but we'll see in just a minute. We'll give this a few minutes. That's why I said RC Cars and Coffee. I am actually drinking coffee. So hopefully this notification will go out and everyone will see it. Kind of down here in the dungeon. So we'll give this a few minutes to see. I think I went public. So we'll find out in just a minute. Okay, somebody joined on. So it did go out. I was worried about the notification. So what's going on, Jackson? Appreciate you joining in. It's kind of a unplanned go live. So I appreciate you guys smashing that like button. So I saw there's 1 like on here, 3 likes. What's up, X-Rated RC? What's going on, Addicted to RC? What's going on, y'all? I've been kind of not doing videos for a while. What's going on, CSL? RC? I've been kind of just taking a break away from RC cars a little bit. Been focusing in on my other channel, just other stuff. But I did want to go live, talk, excuse me, talk to you guys. I do have some coffee and stuff here. I'm kind of chilling. And I did get a couple of cars, and I actually have a exclusive car that I can't show to you guys just yet. But it's going to be released and announced in the next week and a half or something like that. So it's not from a major brand, but it is a car from a smaller brand. But I did want to kind of show you guys some of the stuff that I actually have here and that I'm running. So guys are coming in. I appreciate if y'all smash that like button. We're trying to keep that algorithm, or as they say, replace algorithm with audience. Trying to keep that going. So what's going on, drones and dogs? What's going on, Drex? Addicted to RC says, am I buying a C8? I don't know, man. I mean, this is probably going to be a little bit shaky in this video because I am just doing it on my phone. So I'm going to try to hold this still as much as I can. I don't know. I did test drive the C8 a couple of times, but I am just not 100% sure. I did test drive one the other day, but what's so funny about it is that C8 that I tested is a 2023 and it's a 2LE. So if you guys don't know, they have different trims for these cars. Just about every company does it now, which is kind of stupid. But they have all these different trims. There's dealer markups and stuff. But the one I tested the other day that I have in a video short was a 2023 and it was a 2LT. And the guy it was actually used. So when they had it marketed, they had it at 5 miles. When I test drove it, it had 50 miles. But long story short, the guy bought the Corvette, put it in his garage, and then brought it back and sold it back to the dealer for a higher price. And they wanted too much for the car. And they actually marked it over the actual sticker price and it being a used car. So I was like, well, I was looking at the different years, and the 2024 C8 has the magnetic ride system in the vehicle. For a 2024, it's got leather seats and it's also got the rear view camera mirror on it, where in order to get that on a 2020 to 2023, you have to go up in trim level. So I was like, well, why pay all this money for something when I can just wait for a 2024, get a brand new car, not one that's used, and then go from that point. That's if I take that route. I'm just not sure. I still like my C7 because I still think my C7 says Corvette. But the C8s, I need to quit looking at them because it's kind of grown on me a little bit. So I know that was pretty long-winded, but hopefully that answered the question about the C8 that I put on my channel. If you guys can, if you pay attention to the shorts, I did put a YouTube short out there. So what's going on, Dion? Appreciate you guys joining. If you can, smash that like button for me. What's up, Smith? I appreciate you guys joining in and sticking with me. I know sometimes I am just out and about and my mind is on, because I do a lot of things, guys. Some of you guys may or may not know. And I'll start going live more in 2024, showing myself more and all that, because I know you guys want to see what I look like. And it helps with the algorithm, believe it or not, when you actually physically show yourself and do it in videos and thumbnails. People just don't realize that, but that's one of the tricks for the trade for YouTube. And I may even in 2024 do a video on how to start a RC channel if you guys want to do that, and just try how to build it up. I may do something on that pretty soon. And then I do giveaways, but if you guys are like a member of my channel, there's only a couple of you out there. I did do a couple of videos, but nobody responded. So I do get some stuff, some apparel. Sometimes I get cars, and I have told those people, hey, reply back and you can win this car. And I think it's about 2 or 3 people that are actually members. That means you pay, I think it's $3.99 a month or something like that. If they would have replied back to those videos, they would have got an RC car, but nobody's been replying back. So I may open that up in 2024 and do it a little bit differently and start giving away some of these cars to you guys out there as well. I was trying to give the members exclusive rights and be able to get this stuff, but I haven't. No one's responded just yet. So anyway, I'm yapping, and this go live is more about you guys. So what's going on, Carrie? Drones and Dogs said, "Are you going to compare it to the Arma Gorgon and Traxxas Stampede?" If you're talking about some of this stuff, these are going to be interesting. This is a new one. It's their XO7. This is 2 and 3S capable. It comes with a 2S lap. I don't think it comes with a 3S. I have not unboxed this one yet. I just actually took it out just to show you guys here. This is JayTee RC, and this is DRC. So these are some of these vehicles here. I haven't really run them yet. I went ahead and charged the batteries and stuff, and I was going to take them out today. But by the time I got done with work and everything and things in general, normally I'm at the gym at this time, I did not have time to run them. It was already dark outside, and I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to sit up here and run around and do all that. So I'd rather give you guys good quality videos, kind of like what you saw what I was doing with the Pilot, what I was doing with the Arma Big Rocket. You guys like more videos like that where I take them out and run them. I probably won't do these at the construction site because this is brushed and this is brushless and this is brushless, but I'm not sure how they'll do, but I'll find some different areas other than just doing a speed test, and definitely take them to the skate park because that's kind of the area I can test these at, and then find a pretty decent off-road area with that. So, but am I going to compare these to that? This would be more comparable to a Traxxas Rustler. I know Timu was saying that this is an 8 scale, but this is actually 10 scale. And maybe if you compare it to an 8 scale buggy, it's going to be a little bit smaller. So maybe they should have just said 9 scale. They should have probably left it at 10 scale, but I know for selling purposes, they probably said 8 scale. But it's not really 8 scale. I mean, if you put an 8 scale buggy, it's going to be almost the same size as it, but this is the same size, maybe a tad bit bigger than a Traxxas Rustler. I don't have a Rustler here in house, but so let me go back to here. What's going on? I don't want to butcher these names, so I'm just going to say the last part. What's going on, Fire? Jackson said, how do I feel about the Big Rock fix? That is actually very interesting. I'm going to sip some of this coffee real quick, because I did not have issues, guys. I did have one issue where I didn't even film it. I geared the vehicle up and I ran it for a speed test, and it shut down for a second and shut back on. I didn't have a problem. And I didn't even film it. I was just testing. I want to lower the truck down. But after that, I just ran straight down. Of course, you don't want to. I think I had might have been a 22 or 23, and I was just testing it just for kicks and giggles for myself. But you guys know I beat that Big Rock. I really, really did. And I didn't have any issues that the people were saying they're having out there. Not to say that I got the best one out there, because there was other influencers that got that vehicle as well. But you guys know I put that Big Rock through it. I mean, I submerged it in water. I have never submerged the RC car like that in water, and I did that on purpose. I actually lost a shoe that day, y'all. Believe it or not. My shoe, when I was digging that car out of that water, because it was deep down, my shoe sunk in, and it was pretty much a done deal. And I had to try to go back in and fish it out. So the tennis shoes I had on, I had to throw those away. Socks was gone. Pants was gone. And I literally, for that video, I put out a lot for that. But but I didn't have the issues of it. But the fix could be good. I did see an email on it. I just have not gotten back to it, but I do have the truck. It's actually here. It's not in store. So I do have it here. Maybe I'll do a video at some point in time. But I haven't had an issue. Someone from Instagram, I can't think of their name, did reach out to me about it. So I'll see. I mean, I know some people, just because I didn't have it doesn't mean others won't have it. I think several people might have had that issue, but I'm glad that it was identified and they fixed it. And maybe that's holding up the release on the Creighton 6S EXP. Maybe they're going ahead and doing that update, or maybe they're just cutting out some paper and putting it with the vehicle when it actually ships out, because I thought it was in stock now. I did see, I think one person overseas get it, and I forgot. I think they jumped and I think they broke an A-arm or something like that on it. But so anyway, back to you guys' questions. Nice selection of RCs. Appreciate that. I do like these cheaper cars. I did put this out and this one out on the community page, and someone said, oh, Timo, oh my gosh, what are you doing? It's actually, stuff like this reminds me of when I was a kid at Christmas. Even some of these smaller cars too. But just, I'll take the body off of these two in a minute. But just the way it's constructed and looking at it just reminds me of, I don't want to insult it by saying toy grade, because all these are really, just toys. But this is still a hobby grade. But it just reminds me of kind of those cars when you got your first RC car, and you treasured it, whether it was a Tamiya or Kyosho back in the day, and it didn't matter. We just kind of treasured those cars, and that's what this reminds me of. When I was kind of unboxing it and looking, I was kind of scrambling through and looking at certain things. It actually has a pretty good servo on it, but it will need probably some suspension just to see how kind of that's bouncy. And it's actually sold out on their site. So I'll try to, after this video posts up, I'll try to put some links in the description. There's nothing in the description right now for it. So Fire says the new Hypergo H14MB looks so sweet. I gotta take a look at that. I may have missed that. And that's how much I've been in the RC news lately. So David SG, I don't read that in Spanish, so if you could translate that, I would greatly appreciate that. If you're asking me, I don't know, something substitute, I don't know, I can't, my Spanish is horrible, and it's even worse now, but I thought about, and you guys let me know in the comments while we're live, I thought about doing some Spanish type videos where I do the video regular, and then I actually come in and either do a Spanish version where it's got subtitles. I thought about getting somebody to do a voiceover, but I'll probably just do subtitles for that. But that'll be something for the Spanish speaking audience. So X-Rated RC, I appreciate that donation. I appreciate that. All those foreign brands go X1 2. Yep, that is true. They are small. I think they're saying that this is 10 scale. This is more or less 12 scale or maybe 11 scale. They're saying 8 scale. This is kind of more 10 scale if we look at like the Rustler and stuff. And then they say this is 14 scale, which I believe this is 14 scale here with that. So again, X-Rated RC, I appreciate that. So Drones on says, I'm curious to see your thoughts on that new DRC. From the videos I've seen, it seems fast, but really loud. Yeah, I haven't. You guys hear that there? And I think the body may rub a little bit on the side. I'm not 100% sure. It may rub somewhat there in the back. I don't want to knock. I got some coffee here. I don't want to knock that completely over. But I think that body may rub for. But I'm going to take this out and I'm going to run it just to see how fast it is. And then kind of I'll do it with it. Of course, the weather's cold. But you guys know when I run my cars, I try not to break them. I try to just run them. I don't try to just bash through. I don't try to durability test, like jumping it super high and then jumping it, let it tumble and all that stuff. I try to run them just as someone would if they had actually bought the car and didn't want to sit up here and just break it, because that's what you guys want to see. I mean, I could take these and take them through Hades and back, but the cars will probably end up breaking, except for the Big Rock. I did take the Big Rock through it because I really wanted to see how tough that truck was going to be. That was one I took through it. So Jackson, can you believe that they are charging us? That was a dope video. I'm not sure what you mean on that one. Are you talking about the Big Rock? What's going on, Grizzly RCs in the house? Make sure you guys, if you can, smash that like button for me. Like I said, an unplanned go live, but I always say this, but I'm going to try to in 2024 do more planned go lives, and I got a couple of things set up with StreamYard and stuff. I'll be working with that. So Jason says, the new center diff, do you think it's a good idea to put in the V2 4S lineup or Big Rock 3S? I think it is, and I personally think that Arma's actually going to do an update on that. I think they're going to update all their models. That's including the Vendetta, the Granite, the Big Rock, the Typhon 3S, and what's the other one? I'm missing one of them. They had the Vendetta, and the Infraction. I think they're going to actually put that in there. That would be a smart thing to do. I don't think they'll do a kit for it, because if they do a kit or an upgraded kit, I don't think people are going to get that. I think it's just better just to do a brand new car, because some people are having a hard time when they fit that in there. I think it does mess up with the smaller chassis like the Granite. Putting a lipo in there, that chassis is already a short wheelbase chassis. So, but I think that if they do it, they will come out. I know they will. They'll come out with a revised 3S lineup, which is actually going to be good. And I'm glad the new 4S lineup is actually cheaper than the previous version 2 4S lineup. So I guess these are 2.5, but they should just say version 3. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that Creighton out there, but I don't know when they'll be released. Hopefully they'll be soon, because Christmas is a week and a half away. So if we want to get them for Christmas, they got to hurry up and release them, unless it's already out. Yeah, Hypergo is as good as Losi and Team Associated, in his opinion. Super tough and fast. Yeah. A lot of these cars, they're actually stepping the game up, and I'm glad because they come with lipos, they come with 2 and 3 lipos. This is actually the heaviest vehicle out of all these up here. And it's constructed good, and it's 2 and 3 S cable. And I've had this type of vehicle before. They may have done some updates to it. It does have a 45 amp speed controller and stuff, and it has lights. So they have been stepping their game up. And of course, since you can get them through Amazon, you can get them a lot quicker. So these larger companies do have some competition with these smaller brands, or smaller brands, and then these cars. And when they start doing larger scale cars, if they can get to that point, they'll have some competition for it. But I think that they do fine with these smaller scale cars. So he says the foreign brands he has bought has broken a lot less than the American brands. Yeah, I mean they're all created and built overseas. Maybe they just put a little bit more time and stuff into this. So yeah, Jones, I'm pretty sure that Arma will do a Granite, a Big Rock Mini, and then a Cent. They may even do a Limitless and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure they got a whole lineup they're thinking about doing for that, which would be good. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure they'll end up doing it. I'm pretty sure they'll do brushless versions. It would be good to get maybe a 12 scale or 14 scale version like these right here. I think that'd be actually be pretty cool. They do have that one company that kind of copied their infraction. I forgot the name of the company, right? It might be HyperGo. I think one company just built it, and a lot of those companies kind of just bought kind of the design and put their own sticker on it. And that ran fairly well for a small vehicle. It's actually pretty fast. And then they do have companies that have copied the Creighton. They got like a 12 or 14 scale Creighton out there. They just built it on the same platform. They just put a Creighton type body on it. So maybe that's why they haven't gone that route, or maybe they're going through some legal stuff with those other companies. So what's going on, Aaron? Aaron Moore says, hey, what's up? Hey, found your channel the other day. The fire team is doing great. Good, good. Yeah, that fire team is one of the best things I think Arma has come out with. I like the Big Rock. A lot of people are skeptical on it, but when the fire team first came out, I told people it was good. And they were like, oh, you're an influencer. That's why you said. I was like, no, it's actually a good vehicle. Now, some people don't like it because of the tactical unit, the arms and stuff like, or the army men in it. But I actually did a video where I had my G.I. Joe, the classic, the G.I. Joe Classified series. I actually did a video on that where I took them out and I put it around it. And I had a part two that I was making. I just hadn't had time to, I just have not felt like doing the part two. And since you guys are on here live, the part two to that part one where I used the fire team was basically Storm Shadow got ran over by the fire team, and then Snake Eyes and Roadblock kind of rode off into the sunset. And then the part two was going to be a black fire team, but now they got the Big Rock. So I was going to use the Big Rock as a part two for Cobra and put a Cobra sticker on the hood of it and have some Cobra figurines around and stuff like that. And I still may do it because that stuff's kind of fun. It's just now that it gets dark about 5:30 or so, it's kind of hard to get all that done. I'd have to do it on a weekend. But the fire team, I think, is one of their best off-road vehicles that they have out there. The Big Rock too, I love that Big Rock. I just haven't driven it lately, but I can't wait till they come out with the light kit of it. So what's going on, Sleek Hobbies 88? Jackson, I'm not sure what you're talking about, that a computer programming card and internet. Sleek Hobbies says, what's your ideas for RCs for 2024? Well, I already know that um sorry, I'm sipping a little coffee. I already know that companies like Traxxas will come out with something probably. They usually do something at the beginning of the year. And I know Arma does as well. Traxxas needs to do an 8 scale buggy. They really do. They got the sledge out there. That was a hit for a while. And then the price lowered down. And I think that they will do an 8 scale buggy next, which they need to do. If they do an aluminum chassis, that's fine, but they need to do an 8 scale buggy, whether they call it the Bennett XL or what. So I'll just go through a couple of companies. I think Traxxas will do an 8 scale buggy, and they'll finally release that. I think there will be another revision either to the XO1, or they may call it the XO2, where they actually revise the car and don't just put a wing on it cut a hole in the back of the body and put a different splitter in a servo or something and call it that, because the X01 was the first 100-mile-per-hour car. It got people back into it again. And then they didn't do any updates until recently, and it took them a long time to do it. I think if they put some weight on the X01 and they put some better tires, and not the proprietary tires, and they do something a little different. I mean, the body for it is fine, but the X01 needs weight and it needs better battery trays. If they do that and maybe come out with a truck version or maybe make a C8 version, that it'll sell, but it definitely needs weight and it definitely needs better battery trays. But I think Arma pretty much has that 7 scale market locked down. But if they do it, they have fans that'll get in. I'll take a look at it if it's a big improvement. Don't just take the X01 and just change the body. It needs weight. So I think they'll do that. I think that they'll announce a complete upgrade to the X-Max for the clipless body, but then again, they may not, because the X-Max is still a good seller. I think that Arma, of course, will release their 3S lineup, all the cars with the center diff in it and the upgraded electronics in it. They'll go ahead and do the firmware updates for it. And then Arma always surprises us with something new. So I think they'll have something new coming out. Hopefully we'll get a kind of a rally type car or something from Arma. With that, Losi is kind of hard to predict because they do come out with some interesting stuff, but their stuff is kind of more industry standard. Of course, we'll have a lot of race cars and stuff. With that, I think Team Corrali will finally come out with an on-road vehicle, because if Team Corrali makes an on-road car, I think it'll be good, because their cars are already pretty much fast out the box. I mean, you'll hit 50 miles per hour on fours with their 8-scale vehicles. So I think Team Corrali will do an on-road vehicle, 7-scale, and then I think we'll finally get a large scale, maybe towards, I would say, August to maybe the end of the year of next year. And this is just me guessing, but they need an on-road car, and then they also need a large-scale car. Red Cat and stuff, you know, I don't know. I don't follow Red Cat and stuff that much anymore, but so hopefully that answers my question. I know I'm kind of getting long-winded on that, and some of these are coming in. So Drone says, check out the KF plan, KF10. It's like cheap in 112 scale X-Max. Yeah, they got a lot of cars that are actually replicating a lot of these bigger cars, which is fine. It gives other people a chance to buy this stuff and get them into the hobby. So Jason says, last year around this time for the fire team was on sale. I know. Was it $4.99? $3.99, I think it was. Yeah, we ain't get no good sales this year. I don't know why. We did not get good deals. I thought we would have actually had good deals. Maybe there'll be some good after Christmas sales, but we should have gotten good deals. I was looking at that and I was disappointed, just like you guys. I was like, man, we want some good stuff now. But maybe they took, because they were still recovering from their July incident. I know Horizon was, where they said their site was getting updated and all that, and orders were back ordered. It was back ordered on the back order. And especially those low-C bikes. I don't think they anticipated they would sell like that. And that just created a lot of issues. And there may have been problems with it being shipped and stuff, because I know the green ones didn't come out till later. And some people thought if they went ahead and bought the green bike that came with the battery, they would go ahead and get theirs early, but they didn't. They got theirs after everyone else got the red and blue one. So going through these comments some more, sorry. I think okay, there we go. Phone was trying to freeze up. So Traxxas needs to ditch their standard big bore shocks. They need to put the GTR shocks on their vehicles. I don't know why they're not doing that. Their standard shocks, they're okay. But I mean, it's 2023 finna be 2024. We need adjustable shocks. So these vehicles here, I want to show you guys, and this is why, even that this is a cheap, kind of a knockoff of a Rustler, this has adjustable shocks. Traxxas could do this. You don't have to worry about spacers and stuff in here. Now, the battery and tray and stuff could be something else spoken for. And then, of course, the ESC has got one of them 2-in-1 units. They're doing it at the same price and stuff. But for them to go in and be able to create adjustable shock bodies on it, even though they're plastic, Traxxas could do that too. You know, Arma could do it. Everybody could do it. I know Low-C pretty much does it for all their vehicles, but this is the kind of stuff we want. We want to be able to adjust this and stuff. I don't want to be putting spacers in there and stuff like that. So I agree that a lot of the large major companies do need to work on this. I don't think people would mind spending a couple extra bucks on a vehicle just to have that convenience of that and have to worry about spacers. Tactical Jack, yeah, go ahead and ask a UFO UAP question. My channel has a mixture of both, but I have a channel completely dedicated to that. And actually, just loaded up, I uploaded a video that'll post out probably in about an hour. But go ahead and ask it. We're open to that as well. Yeah, he says Traxxas came out with the new rally car, same as the old, but the new SC in it. Yeah, and they did that for the Fortec as well. Now the Fortec is actually on sale, and I may actually get one. It's $299 for the VXL one, and then the Fortec BL2S is $249. It only makes sense to buy the new Fortec. It really does. The VXL one, because I think you just had to add radio to, because it comes with a receiver in it. You just need to buy the body and the a radio, for which I have a radio, and I want to get another one, get the C7 body like I have for my Corvette. But that's a crazy deal for $299. I think that that's pretty good. And the new one for $249 is like, it doesn't come with the TQI radio or anything. So I have to look on that. I've been behind on RC updates and everything RC related, y'all. So Sleek Hobby says Arma is doing a 5th scale granite. That would be pretty cool. They need to do a 5th scale big rock. I think that they do that. Now, actually, they really need to do a 5th scale buggy. I think that that would be good. If they can do a 5th scale buggy, or it'd be cool to do a 5th scale limitless. A dual motor 5th scale limitless. So yeah, Traxxas should revamp the X-Max. So what's going on, Lyle? Appreciate you joining in. Yeah, the Asuga's actually pretty good. I've had the Asuga. I'm looking at the Kagama. I'm just not 100% sure yet. It's pretty up there in price with it, and I have seen a couple of videos on it. So it'd be interesting just to get that and run it. But right now, I just haven't had time. That's why I haven't been like doing videos and stuff like that. So yeah, Team Corrali, the man, yeah, Team Corrali needs to promote those 10 scale vehicles more. I could have swore that when they were talking about the Kagama, it was going to be a 7th or 6th scale or 5th scale vehicle, and it was 8th scale. I was like, man, I think they missed the mark with that. There's nothing wrong with the Kagama, but I think people that have the Chronos and stuff have already done updates and stuff to it. Now, of course, the Kagama's got a lot more updates into it stuff too, but I think if they would have done a 7th scale, they really would have hit hard with that. It would have, or a 5th scale, they would have hit hard. So yeah, Traxxas definitely needs an 8 scale buggy to stay competitive. They need an 8 scale buggy, and they need to update that X Max, and I mean the XO1, maybe the XO2 or something. Oh, Google shows Team Crowley headquarters in California as closed. Okay. What's going on, Eric? He says, hey, JT, have you heard if they are discontinuing the Traxxas Summit? Yeah, I think the Traxxas Summit's been discontinued for a minute, if I recall. You can still possibly maybe find parts on Jenny's RC, but I think that's been discontinued for a while because the E-Revo has been discontinued. And those share kind of the same platform. I'm going to take some of these bodies off and show this to you guys. I don't have a flash for some reason when I go live with this phone. My other phone does, but this one doesn't. I should have brought a light or something in here, but take some of these bodies off. I need to take this one. I haven't even unboxed this one yet. I just took it out to show it to you guys. I love the way this thing looks. And like I said, this is the heaviest one out of all these cars I have here. I may have overlooked the UFO question. He says, yes, they are real. I saw a triangle from 200 meters away. It's the size of a big country town or small. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are seeing. So real quick off the RC subject onto the UFO subject. I do have a channel called UFO Phenomena. You guys know I was going to post a video every week here on this channel, and it will also help promote the UFO channel. But there's a lot of stuff coming out this year with it. I thought we were going to get a little bit closer to disclosure. Not saying that we get full disclosure, but more information by the end of the year. But maybe it'll be next year. We'll get a lot more information. But there was a recent article I just found out where an ex-CIA agent said that there was a UFO that crashed somewhere in, I think it was Utah, and it was so large that they couldn't remove it, that they actually just ended up burying it. So it's an article I'll put out there. You guys will see it. If you're a subscriber, it's UFO Phenomena. And you'll see that if you just probably put it in YouTube search. It'll have a little picture of like a little gray alien and stuff in it. But I got a video. I got a couple hundred videos on that channel already. So Hobby Wing quick run G2 combos any good? I've heard nothing but good about Hobby Wing. So I don't think you can go wrong when you do actually go Hobby Wing. I think everything is good to go with Hobby Wing. Ghoul RC is another one too if you were gonna go cheap. Like if I was gonna go brushless on this is a 2-wheel drive truck. I would definitely put a Ghoul RC system in it because it's gonna cost me, what is this, 75 bucks for the motor and ESC. But I will have to get a different radio for this. And I don't know if this servo for this, I don't think this servo would work anyway, so I probably couldn't do it anyway because this doesn't use a standard servo plug in there for that. So, but this will be cool just to get this out and run it and stuff. So, Angelo says a 5th scale Mojave. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I think that they're going to. It would be cool to have a 5th scale. To me, a 5th scale limitless, a big one. People would go crazy over that. People have more feelings in the X-Max than worth. Facts. Yeah, the X-Max is still a good truck. I'm not even going to take that away from it. The one thing the X-Max needs is to get, if you buy it stock, they need to fix the body to where it doesn't come off. I think Arma did a good job with having, I guess we call that body tongue underneath it that actually is a little bit longer. Maybe Traxxas needs to do something like that or make it clipless all the way around to where it latches on. Because there's nothing worse than you out there, and it's happened to me several times. You're jumping your X-Max, you got a crowd, you trying to show off, and you smiling, like Warhammer or something in Avengers, and all of a sudden it flips and the body comes off. And then you got to walk down there and get it. So. The Radix XP4S would be a good value. So what was the name of was it the Radix 6? At 250, I think it would be. As long as it has the service pack 2 stuff in it, I think it's a good deal. If it's got some of the upgraded, like the plastic front, like turnbuckles and all that stuff. I mean, if it's got some of that components on it, it's good. So check to make sure it has some of those upgraded parts on it. The one thing about those cars is if you start running it and jumping it real hard, the shock tower does bend. I mean, I've had my front shock tower bend several times in the rear one, and I wasn't even running it that hard. They do have an upgrade for it, but excuse me, you just have to remember that if you're going to be running it out there and stuff like that. But for 250, yeah, that's good. Especially if you can break the payment up to about 3 or 4 payments. All right, peace out, Sleek Hobbies. I'm trying to get to you guys' comments too. IDJC said a fifth scale or 5th granite would be that 7th scale chassis, but on the short wheelbase. Well, they probably shouldn't do it then, in my opinion. If they would do something like that, they shouldn't do it. Tactical, you can get parts on the Hobby Recreation site, and there's another one that has actually all their parts. Shoot, I can't think of it's on my tongue, but I can't think of the name of it. But they have all the Team Corrali parts. But HRP has all the parts and all the upgrades, and even if they're out of stock, it's another company that has them. Because when I broke my Skeeter, I couldn't find the part. Jenny's didn't have it in. HRP didn't have it, but I want to say it's not Stomper Hobbies, it's another Hobbies that had the parts for it. So I was able to get it from there, and it came in a couple of days. Yeah, the Kagama is nice stuff. Like I said, I almost pulled the trigger on it the other day. And I still may do it. We'll see about when the Creighton 6S EXB comes out because it'd be a nice comparisons between the two to see. So we'll see. To put Team Corrali's best against Arma's best, and then to see what's going on with that. No, I don't think Kevin Talbot's annoying. I think sometimes people don't like it, and with the all the time. But I watch Kevin Talbot periodically for a short time. I kind of see what he's doing out there and some of the stuff he has. I did watch his video when he tested the Mojave 4S, and he actually liked it because the Mojave 4S is a good car. I mean, to me it ran well, it was durable, and you could ride it on 2. I've seen people do that before, but I think when he did it, people kind of like, oh, okay, it's actually a good car. And he actually, I guess, gave it a Talbot stamp of approval. Angelo says a 5th scale 8S Mojave. Yeah. All right. At the end of the comments, does anyone know when the new Creighton? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I thought they would be out by now. Maybe they're doing a pilot test to make sure the electronics are still good in it, and there doesn't need to be an update on them. Or maybe there's something else. I don't know. Maybe they just haven't gotten them in yet. Oh, appreciate that. So Tactical says he watches me raise the RC and MSM. So I must have missed the UFO or the UAP question unless someone answered it. But if you can, put that back out here. How many Creighton successes are there now? If you include the EXB versions, they've probably created 6 or 7. So they've had the EXB. This is the second EXB, if I'm not mistaken. The first one was a roller, and now the second one's a ready to run. So that's 2. And then for the regular Creighton, I believe the last one may have been the version 5. So they've been through, if you want to count each release as something, there's been 7 Creighton 6S's out there. As far as the 8 scales are concerned, there's been 1, 2. This is the 3rd Creighton 8S because the first one was a ready to run, and then the second one was the EXB as a roller, and now this third one's the EXB ready to run. Yeah, credit. I don't know when those are going to come out. I don't know. I mean, if you don't get it, if there's not an order in by the latest of, let's say, Monday or Tuesday, or the hobby shops don't get them in, you probably pretty much won't get it because Christmas is not this Monday, but the following Monday. So you got 7 days next week. You got 3 more days this week. So you got about 10 to 11 days. So hopefully something will come out soon. Okay, so some YouTubers are getting the Creighton. Is that the 4S or the 6S? Yep, IDJC, that's what he does. That's what he does. He goes out, he tests stuff past his limits, and you're talking about Kevin. He tests stuff past his limits. And that's what he's always done. I know he's kind of transitioning away. He's still doing RC stuff, but I think he's trying to transition into other things as well. I mean, he built his monster truck. He got his dream car. He did off of YouTube, which I congratulate him for. And he actually did a video trying to tell people how to progress forward. And a lot of people gave him, some crap for that. He was trying to tell people just how to move forward, how to go about things. There were several books he recommended to read, which I recommend people read those books too. And a certain mindset you go about it. And he's proof that it's possible if you put in that work for it. But realize that when we do these videos, it's not easy to stay consistent. When there's been a lot of new YouTubers out there because the RC world is pretty much flooded with a lot of YouTube channels for RC. There's one coming up, every week probably, or every other day. But after a while, people get burned out. So, and he even mentioned it. He said, he's 2 or 3 days going to do a video, 8 hours editing, 8 to 10, 12 hours for editing. So it does take a lot. I mean, when I did those, my last video, especially for the Arma cars, that was a lot to do. When I took it to the construction site, I had to find the location. You guys have to film it, and then you have to go back and then you have to edit it, and then you have to make sure you guys are entertained with that video too, and stay entertained throughout it. You have to have the right music, the right angles, the right shots, and sometimes you got to break away for stuff. So there's a lot to do it. I haven't done a lot of that yet, but I've been utilizing some of those techniques, but it takes a lot to really do that. So he said, raise a review. Oh yeah, I think he did because he broke his, didn't he? I think he had the Outcast 4S, and I think he broke it on a jump, and it was about 40 degrees outside. So he did review it, and he did break it. So maybe the hobby shops have them in. So Tatsa asked about the consumer disclosure bill above. I'm not sure what you mean about that, Tactical. And it says I thought the 6S Crate and Extreme Bash is not out long. It should come out soon. Maybe they're doing an upgrade or putting something in those boxes when they get ready to ship them out about the firmware update. I think they may be doing that. So Creator says his local hobby shop said no Cratons at all are Mojaves. Son's simply going to be disappointed. I'm not in the market for myself. I'm in. If you're looking for a Mojave, well, Horizon still has them in stock, the Mojave 4S. And if they don't, I know the Hobby Town in Beaufort, Georgia, not Kennesaw, Beaufort, Georgia actually has them. And they may have one or two still located on their site, unless they sold them. Last time I was in that area, they had a couple of them in. I think he got like 5 or 6 in. He sold like 3 or 4. And then I think he got a shipment of a few more. So I can do a walk by that store in a couple of days or so to kind of see what they got and just say, hey, Christmas shopping, you guys are looking. Because they do have a site where you can actually go on and order stuff from them. So if you're still looking for a Mojave 4S, that may be your bet. Because I know the Gorgon, that's completely sold out. I looked everywhere, and I think I was at Kennesaw the other day, Hobby Town in Kennesaw, and they just sold their last one. And I knew that Gorgon was going to be a seller. I mean, for the price and what you're getting with it, it's funny because the ones that don't come with the batteries, that was like sold out before. And we're like, well, did they really have enough of those? Or were there only like 25 of those and everything else came with the battery? But for 139 without the battery and stuff, battery and charger, that's a seller. I mean, that's in the price of what you guys kind of see right here. I think this right here is actually 179. And you guys will see when I talk about this in the video. It comes with a small LiPo, but they say you can actually run 2 of these in parallel for double the runtime, of course, and 20% more speed. But this is kind of just like a rustler here. But this is 175, but it is sold out on their site. It's kind of interesting because I did open the gearbox on this, and there's no slipper clutch in there. The way the gears are constructed, it's got a 48-pitch spur gear, and then everything else internal is 32-pitch, and it is metal gear. And it does have aluminum plates. You guys can see it underneath the chassis. So pretty interesting with this model. I mean, and I think this is 130. It may be a little bit cheaper than that. It may be able to get it on sale. But I still have yet, like I said, to run it. This is brushless. This comes with 2 batteries with it, and I want to get this out and run it. And I haven't even looked at the price point of this X07, but I actually like the way these cars run, the way they look. So it's kind of like a E-Revo in a way. What's going on, RC family? Appreciate you joining in. If you can, please smash that like button for me. We're just chatting, literally. I mean, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So I just wanted to go live. I was going to try to get these and run today, but by the time I got done with work, and then usually I'm at the gym at this time from about 5:30 to about 8:30, but I didn't even go there. I'm just actually just trying to just woosah my mind some more and chilling. But I figured I'd go ahead, excuse me, and go live and talk to you guys for a while tonight if we can do that for about another maybe 15 minutes. And I shouldn't be drinking coffee at 7 o'clock at night, but I had a taste for some coffee, so that's what it is. RC Hobby Explosion. Appreciate that. I couldn't think of it I could not think of that. RC Hobby Explosion has the Team Corrali parts, and they ship fast. When I broke my Skeeter, they had parts and stuff there. I might have mentioned them once, but I need to tell you guys more about some of these places that are out here so that you know where to find it, because it does keep company, let's say for Team Corrali, it keeps people from buying because they get scared about the parts. Now, you're not going to find a lot of them at the local hobby shops unless they're actually trying to keep that stuff in stock. But it's still not that much stuff is breaking on their newer vehicles. My Asuga only broke once because I hit a wall at like 80 miles per hour, and I think I filmed it, but I didn't. So I didn't want to show y'all that. So, but they had the parts for it. I went to RC Hobby Explosion, and I was like, yes, you guys have the parts. HRP didn't even have them. They're the distributor. So the UAP disclosure bill. Yeah, that's pretty suspect, because even though they got the skiff where they actually, I'm shifting gears, guys. Even though they got the skiff and they had a couple of people, whistleblowers talking, they still didn't get David Gershon there. They should have got David Gershon there to talk more about the information that he had when he was on the UAP task force, but he wasn't on that. And they said the people that were in there were talking like if they said something when they leave, something was going to happen to them, and they were only talking like they were reading a script. So I forgot the senator's name, but he got him in there. He wasn't too impressed. It's the same thing he's always heard. He really wanted to hear some more information. So IDJC says, I don't want to destroy mine, but I'll watch it. Yeah. Now, I mean, that's one reason why I do watch Kevin Telbot's videos. I mean, I'll take my cars and I'll run them. But if I want to see somebody just have fun and laugh and take a car past his limits, I'll put on one of his videos. It's funny, when the fire team first came out, a lot of people were trying to talk about it and all that. And Kevin even drove it and he didn't break it. And he was like, whoa, it didn't break. He didn't bend it or nothing. And I told people the fire team is a good vehicle. It really is. So even with like I said, the only car I've actually took it through its paces was that Big Rock. I mean, I know I'm beating a dead horse, y'all, but I took that thing through, and even off video, I said, let me see if this is the monster truck that I wanted Arma to build, and it was. Because you guys know that I did do that Fire Team MT conversion with the low C3 XLE body, which is an alternate body you can put on the Fire Team too. But I did do that, and the truck held up fine. It ran fine. I mean, I liked it. It does need probably a little bit grippier tires for some people's preference, but I was fine with it because I didn't want to be wheeling and getting all that grip and flipping over. And matter of fact, it's still sitting in the garage with a battery plate. I was going to drive it about a week ago, but I just didn't get out and do it. Yeah, Jones, like you said, it's not easy putting up videos. It's like a second job. It literally is. I mean, you're going to be spending a couple hours a day, if not more, because you got to think about videos, location. To do an unboxing takes a long time. RC Driver, I still think he does one of the best unboxings because he actually takes the vehicles apart and then he goes in depth and then he takes it out and then he runs it and then he comes back and he talks about it. But he does a really in-depth review of cars because he actually takes things apart and then shows you that. I ain't got the time to do that. My unbox is kind of, hey, here's the vehicle. I'll show you some components of it. And I've been trying to, lately in my unboxings, kind of combine a running video with the unboxing too, a speed test and all that. And that's a lot to do because you got to unbox the vehicle. And then if you do close-ups, you got to film the close-ups and then kind of draw it in as you're talking over the video, create another layer for it. And then you go out and then you speed test it, which a lot of people want to see that, which is fine. You got to film that one, and then you got to run it off road and film that. And then you got to come back and combine all that together. And sometimes there's mistakes, there's editing. And then once you do all that, that video could be several gigabytes. And then you got to upload it. Depends on if you're uploading from your phone or whatever. It still takes time to upload it. And if you do it in 4K, even though you upload it in 4K, it takes YouTube a long time to process that. So you got to think about all that together. And then you have to make sure that you create the right information so that the video kind of goes viral. You'd hate to spend a couple of days doing a video and then put it out there and then you only got a couple hundred views, because that's going to just, over time, it will get you frustrated. I mean, it really will. You're like, man, I did the best I could. And that's what you want to do. Every time you do a video, you want to do the best that you can. So you continue to do that and then you don't see the views you want. So then you kind of wonder what's going on. And it gets frustrating after a while. But if you keep going on, you'll actually hit it. So appreciate that, RC Robinson. Yeah, there's Forest Mojaves on eBay. Yeah. All right. Credit says, thanks. We are into the 3 and 4S lineup. Seems like the perfect middle ground for 4S. You have affordable run and 1 good battery runtime. We only have 5 batteries. Yeah. I mean, the 4S is a good middle ground. So I'm glad Arma's focusing on the 4S, the 6S, and the 8S. They're giving everybody grounds for that. It would be nice to get some of their 2S lineups like the Raider and stuff back, or at least create the Raider XL. I think it'd be cool to have that back out there to get some 2-wheel drive vehicles going. And I'm not talking about, what is it, the Boost series. They need to come back with some of their other ones. I think they need to come out with the Raider. It'd be cool if they did a Raider XL again. I think that was a 2-wheel drive buggy they should actually re-release and do some updates to it. Now you know somebody gonna find a problem with it when they put it out there. Somebody always does, but yeah, looking over hell, yeah, you guys in overseas, y'all do pay a lot more. I just never understood that because maybe the bigger shipments come here to the States and then they go everywhere else. But I've heard about people talking about that. Uh, and maybe people are price gouging too. Yeah, I saw the Raptor R. I saw the new Fox body up there at Hobbytown. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Curtis, says, any thoughts on the Asuga XLR? I'm very tempted on that car for 2024. It's actually a good car. I did a video on. If you check my channel, I did run it. It's actually good. It's bigger than an 8 scale buggy. It's about almost the same size as a truggy, but a little bit smaller. But it's actually good. So if you're into buggies and stuff, you'll love the Asuga. So Flying High 22 says, what got you in the RC world? I've been in RC cars for a minute. My first one was a Tamiya Monster Beetle. And before that, me and my brother used to run like NiCad cars. I started a video where I was going to talk about my history in RC cars. I don't want to disclose too much I'm going to put out there because somebody could easily take it and do it. But I'm going to do a lot of things like that coming 2024. But I got started when we were, kids. I mean, we used to run the Nico cars and stuff. Me and my brother used to have the on-road cars. And I remember my mother got us both an on-road car. My brother had like a police car where it had a turbo button, and it wasn't a Tyco turbo hopper, but you actually push up and then the siren, the lights flip up on top of the roof, and it gave it like a turbo boost. And then I had like a Nissan, it was a Nissan, may have been 300 or something. But when we were at my mother's house, we were running on carpet. So his car was faster than mine. I was like upset because I thought that since my car looked smoother, it was going to be faster. But then when we actually got back to my grandmother's house, I live with my grandmother. We had a huge basement, so we took our cars down in the basement and we ran them in the basement. And I beat them because my car was more of an on-road car. I was like, yes, and that's back in the day when cars ran on double A's. So you want to make sure you had some energizers or door cells to run those cars on because you want the fastest car. And then one of my friends got one and his was slow, and then he ended up getting one of the first, I guess, hobby grade cars. He ended up getting the Rhino, the Nico Rhino. Was it Nico? I think it was Nico Rhino. And we were like, whoa, because it was a buggy. And at that time, Tamiya and Kyosho were kind of the big hits. And that's when the RC10 actually first came out as well, was getting ready to come out. But before that, I had got a Monster Beetle for my very first car. And I wanted something to beat my friend's Rhino. And my brother ended up getting a Kyosho Ultima. And we started running around the block. We actually had block championships. Everybody at that point was getting RC cars. One of my friends got the Thunderbolt because he thought because of the name Thunderbolt, it was going to be faster than the Rhino. But comparing the Rhino and the Thunderbolt is like comparing the Hornet to the Grasshopper. The Thunderbolt had a 380 motor and the Rhino had a 540. But go and behold, we were doing block championship races. Some kids behind me named Brian and Michael actually got Tyco turbo hoppers, and they were actually pretty cool. So we would always take them out every Saturday or Sunday and run them in this little course we had. And I was a block champ for a long time until on my Monster Beetle, the speed controller got dirty. And at that time, it had a mechanical speed controller. And I tried to adjust it on the radio. And this is during the days of the AM radios where you had the little crystals and stuff inside of it. And I had a lot of interference. So the day we were out racing, my car kept acting up. I would hit the throttle. And on the mechanical speed controller, it would actually go too far and the car would jump and then stop. And then when I let off, it would just jump again. And I got frustrated. And I remember it just took off. And I couldn't control it. And it went underneath my grandmother's car and ended up breaking like the front body mount. And everybody was like, oh, Timmy, his name was Timmy. He beat me with his Thunderbolt. And everybody was laughing because it was like about 9 or 10 kids. And I lost my block championship. And I was mad. I threw the body on the ground. I was like, man, I lost. And I was upset about it. And then I think later on, I ended up getting a Technigo motor. And from that point, Traxxas was starting to become big because they had the Traxxas Cat. And then they released the Traxxas Hawk and all that. And everybody was getting it. So that's kind of how it got me into it and kept me into it. those were to me the golden days of RC cars because car action was big. And I kind of feel bad for car action now because I think that they're on the verge of maybe not publishing anymore. So I'm actually going to try to subscribe to them and get some of their magazines. But car action was big because we go up to the local Walgreens once a month and get the new magazine and read about all the new stuff and get some candy and come back and I look at those magazines for hours. I actually several years ago, and I know I'm getting long-winded. If you guys don't want to hear this, just say no, shut up, JT. But several years ago, we had a big swap meet at Hobbytown when it was in Duluth, Georgia, and I had several hundred RC car action magazines. I'm talking about vintage stuff. And I was like, well, somebody's going to want these. So I was selling them for a couple of dollars and nobody wanted them. So I started giving away because I was moving and I couldn't keep bringing all those magazines with me. But I wish I had kept them. I do still have a few of them. And maybe at some point in time I'll go live. But that was the golden age of RC car for me. So, I mean, I went through the RC10 and then everybody trying to replicate that design. I went through the Ultima winning the World Championship. That was the first time that Kyosho, I don't think they've won it since then. And that was when Joel Johnson won it. And then there was a whole transition of a lot of stuff. I even went through from the mechanical speed controllers to electronic speed controllers, from nickel metal NiCad up to, lipos and stuff. So, but hopefully that wasn't too long-winded. Scott says, I'm trying to decide whether to go with the Kagama or the new Creighton, and which one would you go with? That's going to be a hard decision because I don't have neither one of them. I've seen videos on the Kagama, and it's good. And I've seen the promo video for the Creighton. So it's going to be interesting. Now, the new Creighton is EXB. I mean, that thing is going to be pretty much just about bulletproof. Now, somebody's going to find something wrong, Scott. They're going to find something wrong with that Creighton. Some people just try to find stuff wrong. So, but between the two, since the Kagama is kind of new, and I think it's just maybe, I'm going to call the Kagama a version 3 of their Chronos XLR. Team Karate is still picking the game up, and they're actually doing revisions and stuff on it. I know with the Kagama, the tires are going to need to be changed because those tires are kind of a soft compound. They're good for kind of bashing around and stuff, but they do balloon a lot. I thought that Team Karate would have did a update on those tires. So I know that's something that you will probably have to change at some point in time will be the tires. And then it's going to be checking the diff oil actually on both of them. But the new Creighton seems to be like it's going to be that one. It's going, like they say with Bruce Lee. People say Bruce Lee actually couldn't fight, and they find out a lot more information about him. He was actually that dude. People just don't realize it. So that Creighton may be the ultimate 8-scale truggy. So that EXB one. So yeah, RC Hobby Explosion's got a lot of parts. They got HPI parts. They got a lot of stuff. So if you guys can go over there and check them out. Sean says, can you put the shops that carry Team Karate parts, please? So Sean, RC Hobby Explosion is one of them. You can sometimes go to Jenny's RC, and that's Jenny's spelled with a YS and not IES or anything like that. Jenny'sRC.com. They actually have some good stuff. You can go on there and they actually break parts down, show that to you, and they sell them like that. So that's actually a good source too. Sometimes you can find them on eBay. HRP, Hobby Recreation Products. They're the distributor for Team Karate stuff, so you can always go to their site and try to find it. But RC Hobby Explosion, I actually talked to the guy earlier this year, and he said their goal was to become the number one, in which they are, the number one carrier of Team Karate stuff, whether it was the standard parts or the upgraded parts. So they were actually getting all the parts in so everybody can go to them. They actually had stuff that the distributor didn't have, which was HRP, because they bought them all in. It's just they're kind of that hidden gem. So definitely check out RC Hobby Explosions. Definitely check them out. So looking on the wall, says he hit a wall with the crate and stripped on the opinion gear. Yeah, these cars are getting tougher and tougher, so. Yeah, Fireteam is one of the best. Is the rival MT as good as everyone says? I think it is. I think it's just a little bit small. I think it should have been a little bit larger than what it is. But it's actually a good truck. I mean, especially for the price point. I think that the brush one is priced a little bit too high. But the brushless one's actually pretty good. I still like my Stampede 4x4. I mean, to me, that's just the best because it was actually my first 4-wheel drive vehicle. But I just love now the new one. That ain't nothing but a hoss. I mean, so but the new one it's But there's been tests out there where they've compared, and it's actually pretty durable. I think I broke an A-arm on mine when I was doing some jumps and stuff. But it's actually pretty good though. So yeah, IDJC, yeah, it is. I feel your pain. Sometimes I'll put stuff out and I'll be like, huh? What the? Okay. And then somebody else will do the same thing and they'll get like, we're talking about views now, y'all. We're talking about we put videos out. We're like, huh? And then it's very political, the RC world. That's the best way I'll put it. Um, there are, and I'll say this, there are probably one or two companies. I know there's one company I'm just not going to really associate with anymore. Um, just because of I see what they've done, I see what they're doing, and I just won't. I mean, you guys probably have not seen any of their products on my channel, and you probably never will going forward. So, if Arma makes a drag car, that'd actually be pretty good. They may as well. I mean, they got the 7 scale market and most of the 8 scale market pretty much on lock. So, yeah, the only thing with having a weekly schedule sometimes is that sometimes you can't actually make that time. And then your people are sitting up here waiting, and then you don't have a video to put out. Like I do Super Speed Saturdays, but I haven't done one in weeks, probably over a month. I haven't had anything to really test. Was gonna do the big rock. I was gonna lower down, put 8S, but I just haven't made time to do it. I'll probably do this Saturday because I do have a 3S lipo, so I gotta unbox this one. So I'll probably do this one, Super Speed Saturday, for 2 and 3S lipo. But I am really excited to try to get this out because I love the way this thing looks. And if you guys knew how heavy this was, especially compared to the other cars, you'd be like, okay. Matter of fact, I haven't even looked at the inside. Let's do this while we're on here live. We're far enough that if anybody looks at it this long, they deserve to see everything they see and hear everything they hear. So, oh, look at that. I love that. 2 bodies, sweet. And look at that. 2 lipos in there. So that's why I love with these, because it's always a surprise with it. Now these don't have threaded body shocks, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. This should have threaded body shocks on it. But look at that. That's aluminum in there for that steering housing and stuff. So they're making sure that doesn't mess up. It does have that 2-in-1 unit. So this is a 3S capable ESC. It's 45 amp. But see, it does come with a standard, was it JST connector or whatever? So it does come with that. So if you wanted to change this out and put something different in there, you don't have to buy a new servo and stuff. You can just put your regular receiver in there with it and then put a different ESC. But you have to make sure you can hook your lights up too. But there's the connection there for the lights for this brushless motor. It's got a heat sink on that motor. With it, I don't think you would need a fan for it. And then with this, you can just run 1 battery. You can run 2 in parallel for double the capacity of it. And here's the underside of the vehicle too. The only thing I know some people don't like is that it uses a Velcro strap to hold the battery in. But they've done an update, I think, where it actually straps longwise too, so it's horizontal and vertical with it. But this is just to ensure this battery doesn't come out. But yes, 2 batteries, 2 bodies, we're good to go. Wheelie bar and all that stuff is already installed, so you don't have to install components on it. You just charge those batteries up and you're good to go. Matter of fact, take this off. I'll probably run them with the blue because I want to keep the red looking good. But so anyway, back to a couple of these things here. I think if you're talking about Big Kids RC, I think we're talking about the Fox body on the Raptor R. Traxxas just came out with a Fox body for that, so. Jones also said, I try to keep having fun making content. I don't even trip on the endless anymore. Yeah, so Drones Dogs, I'm gonna give you probably a little tip. I haven't looked at your videos lately, but it's based on the thumbnail and the title. You want to make the best thumbnail you can and make it attractive and pull people in. And the psychology of YouTube is to kind of question, to either question the video you're putting out, or just kind of, it's the whole psychology behind it. If you email me, I'll try to give you some information on it, but it's a way to go about it, and it's pretty interesting. And of course, the duration of the video too. You want to capture the audience's attention within the first actually 15 seconds or so of the video, because you kind of lose people a lot. If you look at your analytics that YouTube gives you, they'll show you people's retention rate and stuff. But there's a couple of things with that. So Trim says, how I'm getting my first RC car. It's a Rustler 4x4 Ultimate. Some upgrades alongside. No, it's fine. I mean, I saw it the other day. It's $529. So I thought that was, to me, I think it should have been $499, because it is a Rustler still. It's a 10 scale vehicle. So you'll have to get that and let me know your thoughts on that. I mean, it does come with lights, GTR shocks, the chassis center brace on it and stuff. I wish they would have done a new system for it. I think that would have made more people want to buy it, but it's $529 for it. So you'll have to let me know your thoughts on that. I think that you just let me know your thoughts on it. I haven't even done an RC update on that. I did see one in the hobby shop, but I did see the box for it. It reminds me of they shouldn't have not discontinued the Traxxas / Platinum, not the Ultimate. They had a Platinum edition that came with everything but a radio, and it came with an unpainted body, but it came with the GTR shocks, the center diff and stuff. Turismo 4 GT. Okay, sweet. Yeah, you'll like that Mojave, man. I mean, it's, regardless of some of the negative comments I think that are out there about it, it's a good vehicle. I mean, especially if you just kind of drive normally, so you'll be fine with that. Yep. I think, Trim, you'll be fine. I mean, if you drive it normally, you'll be fine. I mean, just get used to it. Get used to the vehicle. It does have different speeds, 40, 75, and 100%. I'd recommend driving it at 40 or 75% if it's your first one. Get used to it, especially when the vehicle comes to you, and get used to the speed and stuff of it. And then if you're in an upland field, you can put on 100% and kind of open up a little bit. But get used to the way the vehicle is. Get used to how to jump with it, because that's the biggest thing. People jump and they just continue to hold on the throttle, and the car could go backwards, and they brake, it goes forward. So you got to kind of jump and smooth it out some. I think I did a jumping video, a minor one, a while back, but I have to redo that with it. And just take care of it. I mean, the stuff is going to break at some point in time, but if you don't try to break it, you'll be fine. But the Mojave's kind of a big short course truck, so it's got that large body to protect it. So I think you'll be good. I think you made a good choice. Yeah, I saw a couple of those Tomly videos on the calendar every day, so I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So looking over here, says FS Rebels are fast too. Yeah, it's a lot of good companies, guys. I mean, like I said, Wholesome's a good company. I mean, they got these cars out here, and they're still pushing the envelope. They did some upgrades on this, which is good. They do listen to what people say, and I think that this upgrade on the steering, that aluminum, that bling bling, looks real nice. So that's going to be good. And this is 2 and 3S capable. So I am interested to see what this runs like out there on 3S. RC Fan for Life said the Tyco Turbo Hoppers was one of, oh, really? Sweet. Then you got the Grasshopper. I think your Tyco Turbo Hopper might have been faster than a Grasshopper. You have to let me know, because I remember I wanted to get I wanted to get a Grasshopper and Hornet, only because of the Punky Brewster episode. I remember that a while back, if you guys remember that. There was Punky Brewster. I love that they did that. I wish they would have put a Blackfoot in there, but they didn't. And then there was, you guys remember Deadpool from Clint Eastwood, that had the RC10, that had the 64 Corvette body, I think, on it. So yeah, Tamiya does need to make more ready-to-run vehicles. They used to call it Expert Build, now it's called XST or something like that. And they've only got 1 or 2 models like that. Tamiya cars are a lot to build, especially nowadays, everybody not having patience. And the biggest part is putting those bodies together. I love my Monster Beetle. I thought about getting a Blackfoot. and I want a boomerang and all that. But I said, man, I do not feel like building a kit. I need an expert built kit so I can just put the bearings in it when I want to and change it out. Because I still want a boomerang. I've always wanted a boomerang even when I was a kid, and I still do want one. I want a boomerang. I want to get an Optima. I never had one, but a friend of mine, a friend of my brother's had the Optima, and then a friend of mine actually got the Turbo Optima Mid SC Special Edition. So I'm telling you guys, I went through all that stuff. I seen the whole transition to RC cars and racing, and I was there when they raced actually on a dirt off-road track. It wasn't all this smooth prepared stuff. It was getting out there, and of course they prepped the track a little bit, but there was no complaints about, oh, the track's not smooth enough and all that. No, they just ran. You just got spiked tires and you just adjusted your car. So yep, credit Jenny's is gonna be his friend. Jenny's is everybody's friend. Okay, you get the digital version of cars. And I thought about that, but the last thing I want to do, I'm on my phone and stuff all day. For me, is look at my phone or a digital device to read it. I kind of like filling that paper. I don't know why. I know they changed the quality of the paper color too. So yeah, A Main Hobbies is good too. You can't beat that. A Main Hobbies is up there as tier one hobby shop. Um, so you guys are still talking about parts stuff. That's fine. I don't know who will find it. Yep, somebody's gonna find something with the EXP crate. Somebody gonna find something. Man, my screw with my tire wasn't tightened down tight enough, and or the glue can't loose. Somebody's gonna find something. So yeah, I think I've ordered from RC Superstore as well, and I've been on it for a little bit over an hour. So we'll probably stay on for another about 5 or 10 minutes. I think the count will go up to about 50, and then it'll drop back down to about 30 if you guys on. So I want to make sure I answer y'all you guys' questions too before I actually get off of here. So Robert says, can you safely change the connectors on the sparks the Spectrum Smart batteries? Yes, you can if you know what you're doing, but you have to make sure if you use a smart charger that now I don't know if what trying I don't know what kind of connector you're trying to change over to, because I think that's still kind of proprietary in ways like the Traxxas batteries for it. So you may be better off just finding an adapter. Because most of those, I don't know if you're going from, if it says IC5, you're looking to an EC5, those will still connect, and it'll even connect to an XT90 male as well. So I don't know if you're trying to change out to a different one or not. So Rob, you have to be a little bit more clear on that about what you're going to change over to. Yo, Trim, when you go on Jenny's, you're going to be there for a couple hours. You're going to be like, they got this? Oh my gosh, that's what they did. So Turismo GT, I don't know if you're saying you got the X08 version of this. I don't know if in between the X08 and the X07. Maybe it's just the size thing right there. Joel B says, do I sell any of my RC cars? Periodically, I do. A lot of them I keep, a lot of them are in storage and stuff. Sometimes I just give them away. I mentioned earlier that if you were a member of my channel, I did put a couple of videos out like, hey, if you guys are on here, I'm kind of giving these cars away. Just put a comment. But I didn't get, I think it's about 2 or 3 people. And I'm not saying that for you guys to become a member. But if there's any members that are on my channel, I'm still going to be doing that. I mean, you guys just have to pay attention when I put a video out there. I may put some in the community post that's just for members only. So a lot of times, like for instance, if I was going to do it today, which I'm not, but I would say, hey, I'm going to test and run this car, and if you're a member, you can get this car. Answer this question. The first member that answers it gets it. Or I may just say, hey, I got 3 members. I got 3 cars. I'm going to send you guys each one of these cars. Decide who gets it, do X, Y, Z. So no problem, Drones Dog. Like I said, just reach out to me and I'll send you over some information I think that's going to be useful and helpful. Because it's helped me. I tried it actually on my last several videos, not the last 1 or 2 I did, but when I did the Big Rock, when I did the Gorgon, and then also when I did the Granite and the Mojave. So I did see a slight, about a 15% increase in views for it. It's not as high as I wanted it to be, which I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the YouTube with that. Like I say, especially that Big Rock video, I was like, man, I lost shoes and everything for that one. So yeah, okay. So there's nothing like, I mean, real dirt and mud when they did it back in the day was just awesome to go out there and just run in some dirt. So Flight High says he changed his sentence to a Ford Raptor. Sweet. Yeah, you can. Um, those are the same tires. So Trim was just asking about the Rustler and could he put the Sledgehammer tires on it? You can. I don't think it's gonna rub, but you can definitely do that. Those Sledgehammer tires. That's actually, in my opinion, some of the best 10 scale monster truck tires that can come on a truck is those Sledgehammers. I have it on my current Stampede 4x4, and I love it because they're not so hard to where they don't give you grip, but they're not so soft where they balloon. And I actually put them on my Gorgon when I ran it, when I converted it over to brushless. I had to get some adapters for it, but so there's no difference apart from the body and the wing that the X07 comes with. The X07 is just a truck body. Okay, that makes sense then. I have to check out the X08. We're talking about this particular car here from Wholesome RC. But I'm telling you, I love these little cars though. I think I actually gave one away at the park to a little kid, if I recall. He never had an RC car, and luckily for him that day, I actually had the little USB charger that comes with it. And his dad was like, really? Because I think it was him, and he had, no, it was actually at Hobbytown parking lot. He was there, a guy was there with his kids. He had 4 kids, or maybe 5. And his son was looking at the car, and he talked about, the cost of the hobby and stuff like that. And I was like, here, just take this. And I just gave him one of these cars. And luckily I had a charger with it, and I gave him that. So sometimes I do that, and he was just surprised. I'm like, no, just taking that fun. I said I only had one battery with it, but his son was excited. It wasn't about me saying, well, just give me $50 real quick and you can have it. It was about getting a kid inside, because I know how it was when I was a kid and I wanted one. And he was going to share with his little brother and his little sister. His other brother and sister was actually too young, but how do you become a member? I think there's a member button or something. I forgot how that is, but even on this video, I think you'll see down underneath the video, it says become a member or something like that. And there's different levels. I think my levels are like $3, $5, or $6 a month or something like that. And since I hadn't had that many members, I hadn't been posting that many videos, but I'm going to start trying to do that more next year, where I do behind the scenes stuff for members and giving them extra content. I get a lot of apparel stuff, like down here. You guys see I have some hats over there from JJ Custom, from Jen's Ace, from KST Servos and stuff. You guys probably can't see that over there with those hats. But I don't even wear that stuff. And then I get extra stuff at times periodically too. So that's the stuff I want to start giving to the members as well, because you guys are members of the channel, and I don't want to just have you be a member just to get exclusive content. I want you guys to actually get more out of it. You don't have to pay for shipping. I'll have a list of the members. I'll have their information, and then I can start shipping that stuff out. Because for instance, let's say for instance, I got 3 members. I may just ship all 3 of those hats out to them. So that's the stuff I do for the members. I'm not trying to tell you guys to become a member, but that's what I did for my members. So don't get those big ones. Don't get those 17 mils. They're actually pretty big too. They balloon like crazy. I would stick with the 10 scale ones if you're going to do that trim. So yeah, I'm only going to test this on 3S. I'm not really going to run. I'm going to speed test it to see how fast it is on 3S. And I may do it when I unbox it. So we'll see. So yeah, I'm probably going to get off of here in just a few minutes. I didn't plan to be on here this long, but you guys had a lot of questions and stuff and kept the conversations good, not just for me, but for everyone else. So any questions, anything before I get off of here in just a few minutes that you guys may have to ask me or ask anyone that's actually on here? So Sleek Hobby says the Sin Reaper, is it worth it? It does need a couple of upgrades. So when you start putting a little bit more power to it, you do start breaking the rear drive shafts on it, or the dog bones. And then you can actually do an update to it, but you'll have to update the diff yokes, all that stuff. So it's a good, hopefully Sin does a revision on that, because that American Force is a beautiful truck. It really is. You do have to do some slight suspension tuning and then some tuning on the differentials. But once you get that, even if you just run it stock, I do think you still need to tune those diffs some. It's still a beautiful truck. And it's a 7-scale truck and it's light. So would I recommend if there's a sale going on? Heck yeah. Because it's a big truck. And it's a little bit smaller than an X-Max, but it's actually a nice looking truck, especially that American Reaper. Oh, talking about those on there, yeah. I think this is gonna need some oil in those shocks, but we'll take that out. So, heck yeah, going from 25 to 65 is a huge jump, and it depends on the vehicle. Like the Rustler, if you're gonna go 65 on a Rustler, I do not recommend going off road with that, and I do recommend that's just for a speed run. Now there are people that made their Rustler go about 140, 150, but they've done a lot to it. Like I said, just get used to it. Don't worry about doing all that. The name of my UFO channel is called UFO Phenomena. So if you type that in, you'll see it. And it's a picture of like one of the little, they call gray or Evian aliens, and he's kind of like got a questionable look on his face. I should pull it up on the screen here, but my other phone is kind of over there. But so it is called UFO Phenomenon. I actually got just a small video I'm going to post out tonight with it. So, but if you look at any of the UFO videos I put on this channel, there's actually a link to it. So you go down the description part and you'll actually see a link to it. And then I talk about it in those videos too. That's why I said I need to start doing those videos at least once a week. So. Your Mojave 4S, I don't think it needs any upgrades. If anything, you just need to check your diff oil. The one I had, I did put some thicker diff oil in it, some center diff oil. I think I put 100K in there. It actually performed a lot better with that. But I think other than that, it was pretty much fine out the box. I mean, 50, I think it was what, 51, 52 miles per hour was fine. And when I went 6S, 6S was too much. That thing just, I couldn't even get full speed on 6S. It just wheelie down the street. But I think if you get one, if you order one, go ahead and get some 100K diff oil and just drive it how it is out the box. And if you want to, if the front tires are ballooning too much or whatever, go ahead and put 100K in the front, maybe, or 100K in the center diff, or maybe you can go 80K, but I put 100. And then I would do probably about 60 or 70 in the front, about 40 or 50 in the back. But I think it's pretty much fine as it is. I don't do a lot of modifications with these cars. I think they're pretty much fine out the box. So Fly High 22 says he has a pretty good store close to him. That's good. So yeah, Trim, like I said, just run it. I wouldn't worry about trying to get all this parts for it. I wouldn't worry about looking at all these videos where people are saying do this, do that. I mean, the ultimate Rustler should be pretty much the ultimate out the box. You shouldn't have to really do too much to it. The tires should be fine. It's got the TSM rated tires. You should be good. I mean, it comes with lights, JayTee shocks. With it, I do believe it comes with the heavy duty kit that's on it as well. So you should be pretty much good for that is stock out the box and have to worry about that. So I wouldn't worry about doing all these upgrades and all this stuff. I would just get the vehicle, run it, enjoy it. Run it on 2S, maybe run it on 3S, and just enjoy it. And as time progresses on, if you see stuff breaking, then start doing it. But I wouldn't worry about doing all this extra stuff for it at first. So. All right, appreciate that, Fire. I got a video coming out. It's just a short one coming out in about maybe 20, 30 minutes on that channel. So, no problem. Appreciate you watching, Big Tucker. Any good sales? Not that I know of. I usually try to reach out to some of the manufacturers I work with, especially like SMC. They usually have a sale on batteries. Gens Ace. Who's a couple other ones? Sometimes like DRC and some of the other small companies, we reach out and we communicate. There hasn't been anything really, really big. I know there's some sales on Amazon. I should be doing videos on that, so I probably will soon to get some of these vehicles. I think this one right now, you can get $20 off. I should probably put the body back on there. There you go. So that you can get 20 bucks off. I think this one's actually sold out. It is 174, I think it is, or something like that. Out maybe a little bit cheaper. But normally when I have the deals, I'll try to let you guys know. So I don't know if what you're actually looking for. Horizon's got theirs, and I think their current deals end on the 20th. Every now and then, there's Tower Hobbies does scratch and dent, but it's kind of hard to find this stuff. And then once they do a scratch and dent, it's kind of hard to say, "Oh, I got that." So, all right, appreciate it, Drones Dolls. I won't be too far behind you. I'm actually gonna log off here too. I've been on here for about an hour and 25 minutes. So, yeah, get used to the car. Like I said, like everybody else is agreeing here. Get used to the car, run it, go from there with it. And as far as deals go, I sometimes try to do an RC update on it if I can. And sometimes I just put in the community post. So kind of when I can see them or somebody reaches out to me, I'll put them out there, let you guys know. Yeah, I think Drones and Dolls, we're waiting for that Granite to go back on sale voltage for $69 like they had it a couple years ago. They had that thing for 69 bucks and they sold out. So if they do that again, I'll definitely let you guys know with that. So all right, y'all. I am gonna sign off of here. I have to do a couple things, and I gotta go get dinner and stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys watching. Just wanted to touch bases with you. I haven't been doing videos that much, but I got these vehicles coming out soon. I know some of them are emailing me like, "Hey, you gonna do a video?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." But I actually want to drive my big rock and stuff too, so I'll probably get that out there. I may do a super speed Saturday and put 8S on and lower that thing down, or I may put a 23 to. How about we do this real quick before I sign off? You guys want to see the big rock still stock out the box? I'll go ahead and do the firmware update, and then I'll put. I think I got a 22 or 23 2 pinion gear on it to see what kind of speeds we get to make sure the ESC can handle it, or just go on and do something else. So I'll see if we get a couple answers before I log off of here. Tower Hobbies Horizon have the Creighton 6SB in stock. Yeah, Johnny, I saw that, and I wasn't sure because I saw that out there, so I wasn't sure they had that in stock, and they probably do. So all right, y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. There's no other questions, concerns. Hopefully, answer y'all's questions. I want to show you guys this, and I have another car that's small, kind of like this, that's coming up. I just can't disclose that for about another week and a half, but it's from a smaller company. It's not from a large company, anything like that. So, all right, I may try to get that video going with that fire or with the big rock coming up soon. Kind of lower that thing down, see what kind of speeds we get. Make sure that the stock tires can handle that kind of speed too. So, all right, y'all. So I'll probably try to get that going in the next couple of days. I'm signing out of here, and I appreciate y'all as always, and I'll see you in the next video.